Bang, bang, bang.
Bang.
Welcome to the Hot Shot Podcast, hosted by Ticket Hitters. It's your boy, Ticket Hitter Walker, here with my boy.
This is K Wick.
And tonight we got some great hockey for you guys. We got to first start off by paying our homages to FanDuel. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for letting young niggas across the world make money, make a profit, giving opportunities to eat, and feed our family. Thank you, FanDuel.
Truly, without FanDuel, I don't know that I would live where I am. I don't know that I would have the food that I have, the opportunities that I have, really, to do good in this world. FanDuel really opens you up to opportunity. A lot of selections. I mean, you could choose from shot parlays. You could do goals. You could bet money lines. You could even mix it all up and make yourself an 8-leg parlay. Fingers crossed you'll hit it.
Anyways, so that's what we had to say.
Let's jump to it. So we got a 3-game night tonight, no?
We got a 3-game night tonight. It's a small night, and we also had a great night last night. We hit, out of my 15 selections yesterday, I hit 10. My boy K Wick here hit crazy last night.
Would have had jumped in. I think it was about 1,200 odds. 12 were the odds on this first one. This was Elias Lindholm's first game with Vancouver. As we all know, the trade was made not long ago for Kuzmenko. By the way, Vancouver, you got fleeced. Hate to admit it, it's true. But Lindholm comes strong with a good first impression with a 2-goal game. That was the first person on the ticket. Look, first rule of betting: if somebody gets traded or has something to prove, it's never a bad bet to throw them on a goal score parlay. Follow that up with my guy Brian Russ from Pittsburgh. Came home with the shutout last night, put Winnipeg down 3-0. A high-flying team right now, one that has been hard to beat as it is. Big win there. Russ puts it away at the end. Logic on that is Brian Russ obviously set number 17, played a factor, but in a logic factor, when's the last time the man scored? Sometimes you just have to think about it. What seems right? What seems wrong? And
I told you guys to bet the shot on the Jets. Jets always have low-scoring games. I really thought Pittsburgh was going to get shot, but I told you, when you bet on FanDuel, it's both teams to score yes or no. It's a yes or no question. You don't have to specify which team. So I told you to take the shutout. You would have hit. That's plus 850 odds.
That should be how you start your nights, ladies and gents, watching the podcast, or listening for that matter. You got to make sure that you look at the night before you even decide to do player props. You have to look at the games and decide how are the games going to go. Right. Is there going to be goal scorers or not? And
then we have the Stars versus Buffalo game last night. Really just fucked that game. That game was Tage Thompson was the only goal scorer for Buffalo, the goofiest nigga in the NHL.
Thought about Tage Thompson, but he's been goofy this year, so we're waiting on that still to see if he's back for real.
And Matt Duchene scored for the Stars.
Matt Duchene's been on a heater, everybody. Regardless of anything, vibes or what, Matt Duchene has been that guy for at least a month or two now for Dallas.
Yeah, whatever you think about the guy as a man, as a human, like, put that to the side. Just put Duchene every 3 to 4 games.
He's still J-Rob swag.
Yeah, where's J-Rob? We're putting an APB out, official GPSA public alert for Jason Robertson. So yeah, come on.
Big J-Rob, shout out Jay Robertson. Something about the Robertson versus Robertson game tonight is going to bring the best out of him, I think.
Oh yeah, Nick Rob's definitely scoring. Nick Rob's stepped up as a solid third consistent option for the Leafs. Like, he's really taking all his brother's powers. Like, Nick Rob's gonna score tonight. I'll take Nick Rob. He's gonna be plus 480.
I think you can't go wrong to at least pick one brother tonight to score. I think you're winning a bet if you put one on each ticket on a different ticket and put them with somebody that you're pretty confident in. You're gonna hit one of those tickets, if not both. I think that's a pretty safe bet right there. I'm gonna take a second here since. Do you have anything that you still wanted to go through from last night, or?
Oh yeah. First, I just want to pay a little homage to Sebastian Aho. I told you guys nobody puts their team on the backboard. It's Sebastian Aho for the Carolina Canes. And I told you guys it was an 8-night, like Kyler said. Russ scored 17-8, and McCarr scored for the Avs, like I told you. Lehkonen got a point, like I told you, and Rantanen got a goal, as I told you.
If McKinnon ain't scoring, Rantanen is.
No, that's pretty much all I have to go. Oh, also, I told you, I predicted both goals for VGK last night. William Karlsson and Stevenson, 2 for 2 on the VGK. They both hit.
Shout out YSJ on the VGK call.
Ending the streak, because, you know...
What do we end at, 15? Was that... No, 16. That was 16 wins.
Because Connor McDavid's trying to hide the puck from Draisaitl, so they can't...
He's trying to be a legend, make his name known here, and he failed.
Really, if Draisaitl was leading the team, they would have won that game, but hey, let's not talk about this.
Draisaitl McDavid does not equal Jágr and Lemieux. Nor will it ever. So, on that note, why don't we take a little dive into tonight? Looks like we got a 3 games slate tonight. 1-7, or we're talking from Eastern time, but we got 1-7 p.m. slate, which is Lightning at Rangers. Rangers coming in at a cool -120 is the favorite. Home team usually does, if in any toss-up moment. Our other 7 o'clock game tonight, one that I feel has potential personally for a lot of goals, is Stars in Toronto. Toronto coming in with -130 as the home favorite. They've been catching their groove a little bit more recently after a pretty rough December-January patch there.
Okay, I got a real question for you.
What's that?
Who's more disappointing as a goal scorer, Steven Stamkos or Jake Guentzel?
I say it's got to be Jake Guentzel. Reason for that is because Steven Stamkos has been around longer, and in his prime that Guentzel's going through now, Stamkos was a more prolific scorer in that caliber. He actually was always number 2 or 3 to Ovi there for a couple years.
I feel like Steven Stamkos like the Klay Thompson.
And I've never seen Jake Guentzel score 60 goals before like Stamkos, so...
Yeah, Jake Guentzel. Let's not talk about that lifestyle. We're not trying to talk
We don't
about
support or condone the Jake Guentzel lifestyle, folks.
So back to the Lightning versus Rags. For Lightning, probably a +350, +320 odds. I'll take Anthony Cirelli. He's due for a goal. It's number 71. You know.
Why don't you drop to my people why the 71 is may be important today?
Because even though it was 71 yesterday, they didn't play yesterday, so it could still be 71 today. 17, 1 + 7 is 8. You know,
call that the rollover effect. It rolls over into another night. The cosmic energies roll over, and we get the hits we think we would have had that night. It happens, folks. So you got Anthony Cirelli as your that would be your hot take for that game.
For the Lightning. Do you have anyone for the Lightning on that side of the game?
On the Lightning side of the game, now, folks, this is without looking at odds. The best way to preface your bets is to not start with odds. You should think about the teams that are playing, think about any significance in that game and how it could drive things. For example, is there any player in this game that's playing their former team? Is this a milestone game for a player? You know, many factors. Is it a first game with a new coach? And sometimes it's as simple, people, as looking at the logos of the game, thinking about it, and just seeing what comes to mind before even diving into stats and analytics. Now, if I were going to go with anybody from the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, this is a popular pick and a favorite pick of mine, and you'll hear a lot more about my affinity towards him throughout the podcast, but I'm going to go with my boy Brandon Hagel for a goal tonight. Why is that? Well, because he was on as YSJ would know, I was betting Brandon Hagel all along his cold streak, and I think that was maybe 15 games without a goal. It hurt because there was probably 6 tickets I would have hit in that frame of time if he could just be a normal human being. But he has came back to his usual form, and he is now balancing out and getting the goals that he wasn't before. So it feels something in the blood says Brandon Hagel on the Tampa side.
Yeah, he's back on it. Like, he has a lot of goals to make up for. He used to be part of our big four. He kind of fell out of our big four. For those who don't know, our big four is, of course, Carter Verhaeghe. Shout out Carter Verhaeghe.
Big Verhaeghe.
Jared McCann for Seattle.
Jared McCann never let a man down.
Protect Jared McCann from all hatred. Namely Cam Carr. Third, Vladimir Tarasenko. Saturday Tarasenko is a top 5 NHL player any Saturday of the league. Shout out Tarasenko. And the fourth is actually Kuzmenko that got traded.
Yeah, Kuzmenko is somebody that when he first came to Vancouver last year, my eyes were already on him. I was aware of what he had done in the Russian leagues. He was an electric player. I mean, you read the profile, you read about him, his hands, his speed, his creativity are all things that everybody wants now. I mean, you look around the league, it's becoming a normal thing. I mean, Kirill Kaprizov is somebody I look directly to.
Yeah.
As someone who was young, came over from Russia with a lot of talent and hope. Did they think it was going to translate, though? They hoped. But I don't think there was a lot of thought that he would turn into the caliber of player, a 40-goal scorer like he did.
And our favorite Kirill.
Yeah, the best Kirill.
Marchenko.
Kirill Marchenko. Mr. Marchenko.
We wish. Also, we need a moment of silence. Thank you for all your service. Thank you for bringing Stanley Cup back to the capital. But we have news to report that Kuznetsov has been missing. He's been deported. We don't know what the team has done with him. They sent him back to the NHL Player Assistance Program, and it looks like it's about to be the end of his run with the Caps.
Yeah, a real tough one for Washington from a business standpoint. I mean, we already know before it's a sensitive subject for a lot of Caps fans who were here for the 2018 Cup run. Kuznetsov will forever be etched in our hearts for taking out Pittsburgh, slaying the demon, and taking us to our first ever Cup. But we all knew soon after there were some issues that they believe had surfaced with the team involving some drugs, which made his way to him. And now, after years of it being quiet on that front, I think it explains the performance, potentially, that Kuznetsov has put forward recently. Playing at a lackluster level, not to his usual cadence. It's really got a sting for Washington because they were looking to probably trade him for an asset at deadline, but now you had to ask the question, are you going to get anything for that?
We should have traded him for Marchenko, put him together and trade for Marchenko. That's what we should have. That's what we really needed to do.
We've needed what we really have needed for a long time, at least for the last few years, is a prolific scorer that's not named Alex Ovechkin. You can't put too much on a guy who's 38 years old. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are, whether you're LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, you name it. It's when you're 38, eventually Father Time comes and it's undefeated.
Did the Caps make the playoffs? Did the young guns like Connor McMichael and Henry Lapierre step up? I know we just called two more prospects, but do you think those guys that have been here for like the whole season can step it up and make it and push to the playoffs? Dylan Strom's already playing well.
I'd like to advocate for saying Michael Sarboza should never be in the Washington Capitals lineup and needs to be deported promptly. You can send him back to Italy.
Who sanctioned that move?
I wouldn't even want to know the answer to that, probably, but I would say a guy like Ethan Frank is a guy that needs to get some shine in Washington. I mean, he's absolutely crushing it down in Hershey. He's a young guy. What did he win? He was in 2 AHL All-Star games in a row. I mean, and he won the fastest skater competition 2 years in a row, and he's just putting in goals, especially on the power play where we struggle, like it's nobody's fucking business. And the fact that a young guy like that wouldn't get called up before a guy that's in his 30s that hasn't done much in his career, like Michael Scarboza, I say is a head scratcher. But do I think the Caps can make the playoffs and the young guys will step up enough? I say no. We're 0-5-1 in our last 6, and honestly, we haven't made any good decisions recently, it feels, in terms of lineup and personnel. We're going to be sellers at deadline, undoubtedly, I think. There's not going to be I don't think there'll be any pieces still hanging around that aren't necessary. I mean, you look at a guy like Joel Edmondson, won a cup with St. Louis in 2019. That could be a piece for somebody looking for a third-line lefty, somebody that wants to win a chip. Namely somebody maybe like New York, maybe somewhere like Edmonton, get a big body, really shore up the D-line. Or potentially here, even other than that, probably Mantha. I think you had to say Anthony Mantha because he looked untradeable after the Vrana trade. I know that
he's really stepped it up. That was Mountain Nation, baby.
What were we at? 15 or 16 goals now for him, which is impressive for what he was.
A lot of games. Also, we support Jakub Vrana and we support Evgeny Kuznetsov in our other battle.
We surely do, and we hope to see them back soon, and on our bet slips. I'm sure betting for Kuznetsov in 2018 would have hit different.
I'm tripping.
What's up, guys? This is Kay Wick joining the Hot Shot podcast. It's going to be me and YSJ just throwing, daily, weekly episodes at you, talking about general NHL betting and other maneuvers and ways that you can achieve what you need to. My handle on Twitter is Henny Long Long. Some of you already may know me. I tweet a lot, Kings-related content, and general hockey and whatever else sports-related. Go ahead and hop on, give me a follow there, and I'm going to go ahead and tag everything on my page, and as well as the upcoming Hot Shot Podcast Twitter, which you can come to and where you can find our daily drops.
Do you have any prediction for the score in a game like this? Has anything come to your head for that?
3-2 Tampa.
3-2 Tampa, so about a mid-scoring game.
3-2 Tampa.
3-2 Tampa?
4-2 Tampa, 4-2 Tampa.
I was going to say, looking at it, I got 5-2 Tampa, actually. I am agreeing with you. I think Tampa's been hot recently. New York has cooled off a bit.
You got anyone besides Brandon Hagel on Tampa before he moved to New York?
I thought really hard and heavy, but you can't ever go against Kucherov right now. I would never advise you to bet against Kucherov or Point. But I would have to say, honestly, if you wanted to go one more person, I think it's just Kucherov. I think it's Kucherov or Hagel, and or both. And if you were going to go the New York route, what would you be going if you were gonna pick somebody for a goal?
For the New York Rangers official team of FanDuel, I would go. I'm gonna start with high odds first. Jakub Trouba, number 8.
We're going Trouba.
E-man goal. Take Blake Wheeler for a point if you want something safe. 71 Pitlick is probably my best scoring option. Of course, you always got to pick with the New York Rangers. You either got to pick Big Artie or Big Chris for this game. For this game, I'm going Big Chris. Big Chris is the default pick for New York Rangers for the guaranteed goal. But check out Blake Wheeler for a point. Check out Tyler Pitlick, high odds. But don't bet points. We don't like to promote that. It's just like if you want.
You can't parlay the points, which kind of kills the point. You want those odds. You don't want to put down too much money and drain yourself, but you still want the opportunity to make a changing amount, in a hit.
Yeah, this is the Hot Shot Podcast. Forget all the points stuff. We're going straight goal scorers.
So, actually, to pull that up, I'm actually looking at our odds for tonight. Anthony Cirelli was your first pick. He comes in at a plus 380. So that's a good pick if you want to pair him. It depends. Now, I think we both bet a little differently. I think YSJ, he'll go for his 4 legs and sometimes even the 8 legs. He takes those shots at the bigger ticket. Something that I do on the other end of the spectrum is I'm typically known for 2 legs. I'm trying to go for things that are in that 1,000 plus, maybe even as low as 700 odds on a 2-leg goal scorer. I think it's a realistic amount if you're going to put down a moderate amount. I'm putting on average anywhere from $10 to $20 on these tickets. If you're looking to get yourself couple dollar hits and work yourself up by the thousands, I think that's the way to go. But if you're looking to hit, maybe you're looking for that 15 grand. Maybe you're looking for that 50K. Listen to my boy YSJ. I've seen him countless times make hits on potential 4 legs, ones that sometimes were even impossible at the moment to place, and some that he's even hit. Shout out on the $1,000 hit that you had last year when you were new to it all. You were doing your process in New York, a very important process, one that led to the headspace to get you that win. Now, I wanted to ask, what went through your mind the day that you made that parlay? Why don't you detail for everybody kind of what that parlay looked like and what it took to get there?
I'm very glad you asked this question. But this is an answer that will be revealed. I'll give you the answer to this question when we have our 1,000th follower. When we hit 1,000 followers, I will detail you how to hit $1,000 on FanDuel under any circumstances using this very process.
So, multiple times throughout last year, especially early last year when betting went live in Maryland, this was November 2022. Or 2023, for that matter. We had a really good time. I was placing my 2 legs. I was hitting, and on average, just bringing home about $180 on a hit, $15, give or take, with those odds. And I'm telling you, people, you really have to find what's best for you. You have to decide, what you're looking to do here. Do you want that big hit, or do you just want the consistent potential higher? Do you want the more realistic potential chance at income, or are you looking for something bigger that may just come and hit? Artie Panarin he resurged himself this year. I think that's been it's been a renowned year for him, but I think ultimately, if I were going to pick somebody, it would have to be Chris Kreider. Why is that? Well, Chris Kreider steals goals, first of all. So even if your favorite player is going to score, there's always a chance that Chris Kreider's there to tip it and steal it from you. And plus, he likes to shoot. So it's pretty obvious that he's going to want to do that. And there's a little history there between Tampa and New York. So I think Chris will be playing his best game. He's I'd say he's their most intense forward. I think he's their most aggressive forward. He's got the size and speed, to make it happen. So I'm going to go with Chris Kreider as my pick. And he's coming in at plus 175, which I would say is not bad odds for a guy that can score at his caliber.
That's good for Chris Kreider. Take that. So the next game up, we got the Dallas Stars versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. For the Stars, I got 53 Wyatt Johnson. If you follow the theme, you should know I'm taking Wyatt Johnson. Plus, he's due. He's been one of the main goal scorers this year. He's playing top right wing. Take Wyatt Johnson for the goal. I also want to take a third line goal from the Stars, either between Joe Pavelski or Jamie Benn, the white ambassador of the NHL. He represents the community in a very great fashion. But yeah, I'm taking Joe Pavelski, Jamie Benn. One of the old dudes is going to make some noise and start the second half of the year, right?
Did you say Jamie Benn?
Yeah.
That's the second one? So funny you'd even say that. When we talk about, I already said that I think Dallas and Toronto is going to be a high-scoring game. I think that's definitely true. I thought really hard about who would score on Dallas, but I think they will. When you take a look at the lineups, I'm going to run real quick through what their forwards look like. I got Robertson, Hintz, and Johnston on the top line. That's obviously a top-loaded top line tonight. Mason Marchment with Duchesne and Sagan, so Ben comes down from the top six. Actually, no, my bad. That's Pavelski, who's playing third line tonight. Trying something a little different here. I thought hard about it, and now you have the struggle bus line. I mean, you have Jamie Benn and Sam Steele here who have it's been rough to come by with goals, but they're playing with Pavelski, somebody who can spark anyone. I think the ideology behind them playing him less is probably because it's the second half of the year. He's older. He's close to 40. You want to keep him fresh for the playoffs. So I see what they're doing. And then their fourth line is Craig Smith, Foxa, and Dadonov. Dadonov is always a guy who can sneak a goal in. He's someone who's tricky. He's talented. He's played in the top six before with other teams, namely Florida, back when he was there. So there's definitely opportunity there. I like your call on Ben and Johnston being two potential. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, though, apologies, I think it's Jamie Benn. I really do. And I would agree with you on that one. When you look at the Leaf side of the lineup, we have Matt Nyes playing with Matthews and Marner. It's been one of their lines that they've ran a lot this year. You got Bertuzzi with Tavares and Nylander, another usual line that we've seen. Bertuzzi, got to step it up. Tavares as well. Nylander's been real quiet since he signed that contract extension. I mean, have you noticed that? Haven't seen him on the board nearly as much.
On the Maple Leaf side, I definitely got Nylander too. Max Domi, he's number 11. It's new beginnings this year. I can see him sneaking in the goal. What are the Max Domi odds, my man?
Let's see. Max Domi. It's got to be low. I mean, he hasn't been doing much. Let's see. We have him coming in at plus 600, which is kind of, it's well for a guy who can score 20 goals. And we've seen do it before.
So inconsistent, so non-available, just non-apparent.
You can point that, I think, to Toronto and them just being the way they are.
They're so top-heavy. They don't really give the bottom guys a lot of shine. Sometimes Kyle Yarncroc will get some shine, but, for the most part, bottom line, Mike Riley's been scoring a lot. I would not be surprised if Mike Riley 44 scores. Actually take Mike Riley tonight. If you want a D-man goal for either team, I would say the best D-man to take is Mike Riley, 44. Also, we have an agent alert. Who the fuck is Hamburg? Pontius Hamburg.
Hamburg?
Pontus Hamburg for the Maple Leafs.
Oh, Holmberg? Holmberg. Let's have a little bit of a talk about Pontus Holmberg.
Pontus.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is a touted prospect of theirs. Let me get some more clarification here.
Yeah, Nylander, Domi, Mike Riley, and then either pick if one of these two people are going to score, Pontus Hamburg or Nick Robinson. Pick your poison.
If I had to pick between, wait, who's the second one? You said Pontus Holmberg and who?
Nick Rob.
I'd probably go with Nick Rob. I think I'm going with Nick Rob on that one. Let's see.
They're not gonna let Yarn Karnak score. It's too close to All-Star break.
I also want to retract here and say Tyler Seguin on Dallas as well, because Tyler Seguin has just been doing that lately, and it's just something where when I look at it, I feel that way. So I'm gonna switch to Tyler Seguin on my end.
So who Dallas picks again? One last time.
I'd say my two best, if I had to go with two, would be Seguin and probably I might have to go with you on Johnston. I like him playing top line. Toronto.
So next.
Oh, if I really had to give one, I think it's Willie Nylander. I really do.
Yeah, I take William Nylander too as my best option. The best option Toronto is William Nylander. We confirmed that. So we now have the next game of the night. We have the Minnesota Wild versus the Chicago Blackhawks. And
yeah, you got two interesting teams here. You got Minnesota coming in as the favorite on the road, which I don't think is a surprise given Connor Bedard still not being back in Chicago, basically being a lottery team. And not really, I don't think they really care too much to be not in the race this year. But I think when I look at this game, the first name that comes to my mind is Ryan Hartman. There are a lot of reasons why that may be, but I think one of the prevalent reasons why that is simply because he is playing his former team. That's going to be a big factor. I've just done typically pretty well on Ryan Hartman all throughout. I've had a few hits with him. I think you know that, as we've talked about that before. I tend to do well calling certain people. So does James. We, there's certain people that just speak to us better, I think. Typically, Marco Rossi is another one that I know pretty well and can call. I think when you look through it, though, Hartman and Rossi are the two best options on Minnesota for tonight.
So this is one of my favorite matchups of any NHL matchup. You know why?
Why is that?
Because it's the Nick Foligno versus Marcus Foligno sibling rivalry.
The double up, which I think last time this happened, I think one scored. Or didn't it? Yeah.
And I called it. So, yeah. Number 100%, Nick Foligno or Marcus Foligno is probably going to score. I'll take Nick Foligno for the goal, but they're both number 17. Pick both of them. Pick one on each different ticket. Then another sleeper on the Blackhawks I got is Colin Blackwell, number 43.
Blackwell coming in at a plus 470, so good odds there for a guy playing a lot of minutes. I think your value picks and some of your best value comes from Chicago because you're getting some guys who are playing top 6 minutes and getting a lot of opportunities to score, but they have low odds because they're unproven.
Right.
Guys like Blackwell who are getting second, third line minutes right now. I think it makes all the difference. I think if I'm looking at them, though, I know a factor in this game tonight is Tyler Johnson is coming back from injury. So I'm sure he will be playing prevalently in Connor Bedard's role in that top 6. As I look through the list, listen, folks, I'm one of the least confident persons in Chicago. So keep that in mind. I don't typically bet Chicago, but if I was going to take somebody, it would have to be Jason Dickinson. I think Jason Dickinson at plus 370 is great value. He has 15 goals this year. He's getting tons of minutes in power play time. He'll be with Johnson, who he was playing well with before the injury. So I think a good safe bet there would be Jason Dickinson. Team's top sniper. Do you have any prediction on the game itself in terms of Is there any potential for a shutout? Is there, do you have a score prediction, anything?
It's going to be a 4-3, 3-4 game. Either way, it can really go either way. I don't really deal with the money lines. This is a hot shot podcast. You can pick who you want to win that game. It's going to be a toss-up. I would go to Chicago just because they got the All-Star. They got the Winter Classic announced in that city. I mean, they should be turned. They should get some excitement about that.
I can see that.
For the Wild, I'm going to take Kaprizov to score. Kaprizov. And then
never a bad bet to pick Kaprizov to score.
We also have an agent alert for the Minnesota Wild. Agent Alan Beckman has stepped in the building, number 53.
I think if there was one person that I would put as a dark horse for this game in general, I think you got to give it to a guy like Krasinski. I mean, at plus 1,200, he's also getting a lot of time, and he's proven to be an exciting young D-man. He's somebody who could definitely, if you're looking for that high odds ticket, he's a D-man pick that you should certainly look at and definitely consider. Vinny Lettieri, too. Don't ever underestimate Vinny Lettieri's ability to snatch up a hit from you when you least expect it. Now, that covers those games.
If you want a D-man, go for that game. Take DiMaggio or Brock Faber as top-line D-man for the Wild. The Wild D-man, if any D-man.
Brock Faber, definitely a rising talent. He's the current favorite for the Calder Trophy, I think many would say. People obviously say Bedard, too, is a good candidate. Fantilli, potentially, as well. Leo Carlson's in the conversation. But I think as far as it goes right now, Brock Faber, being a D-man, playing in a really important role, he stepped in seamlessly. And being a Kings fan personally, I mean, I have some thoughts on that as well, considering we traded him. He was somebody I was personally excited for. He's somebody that I knew was going to be a good player in the league, someone that was going to be getting top 4 minutes. Did I think he would be doing it this soon? No. I think there's an aspect to his game that could still improve, and that's the physicality and presence in his zone. But he's not exactly the biggest guy. He's not always, and not every player's look forward to do that. But I think if you want to be a complete defenseman, you need to at least be able to stand your ground. And I think Fiala was a good trade piece for that. Fiala's done great in LA, a lot of points, feeding the team. It's been important. People can say what they want, but
I don't support Kevin Fiala. He's not part of the 22 Cup. When he's picked word number 22, you gotta either be elite. You gotta be like my man's Oliver Bjorkstrand, the shooter, or you gotta be like Jack Quinn to glue the whole team together.
JJ Petrarca.
You can't be someone like Josh McCabe. You can't be someone like.
You can't be Nazem Kadri.
You can't be Cole Caulfield bluffing half the time. You can't be Kevin Fiala bluffing all the time. Like, tour number 22 is an honor. It's a massive number, and Kevin Fiala is not part of the upper echelon 22 club. He's not up there with Bjorkstrand. He's not up there with Jack Quinn. So I think that's it for the games tonight.
Yeah, that's good on that. And a couple things just to run over that have come up in the past day or so, just as headlines generally. One thing I wanted to bring up was the statement from the NHL today regarding hit statistics and them being audited and corrected from a period of time this year. I mean, obviously goes without saying why that can be a big deal.
Bro, so they're pretty much admitting that some of the stats aren't real stats, so they have to go back and audit it. So think about all the times where you're not actually watching the game, you're just watching the stats show up, like all those real stats. Did that actually just happen? Yep. Like, maybe it didn't happen, you weren't watching. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody heard it, did actually fall? Like,
it's good logic there. You have to make sure that if you're placing these bets that you're present. It helps. It definitely helps. I know I keep my eyes on things, for the most part. It can be hard to keep your eyes on multiple things at a time. But, keep your eyes on a few things, though, and keep it honest, make sure you're getting your due, people. FanDuel's wonderful customer service. If you reach out to them after the fact and they miss something, I'm sure they'd be glad to offer top level customer service to you to help you get your hit back, because undoubtedly here, or over at FanDuel, they want you to get your money. So
yeah, and FanDuel tries their best to keep accurate records of the stats. They try their best to hold the league accountable. Sometimes, it's just a quote-unquote refs, but FanDuel does try their hardest to make sure they get it right every time about who hits, who doesn't hit.
Yeah, in my experiences and in my time using FanDuel, I'd find that it's the most interactive experience. I'd say it's an experience that's a little more cutting edge than most. I didn't really enjoy some of the other platforms. They're just not as easy to use. Yeah. So we want to make sure you guys are getting the best odds, that you guys are with America's #1 sportsbook.
So we also have our caffeinated beverage of the day, our sponsor, caffeinated beverage / nicotine. Right now we're on the J's with the extra funnel. That's pretty much what we
got a little bit of Colorado Cam rolling. I got a little cherry Coke going for me. Caffeine works. You just got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
You could get this from espresso hot chocolate, a mocha, potentially even just
don't vape. Do not vape.
We don't condone vaping to do this.
We don't condone vaping. Like grab your Red 100 and call it a day. But that's our message from Ticket Hitter Walker and my boy K Wick.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. A lot more to come. We're gonna be banging these out as often as we can. Trying to give you guys tips all we can. But thank you and for tuning in and listening to this edition of the Hot Shot Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.